Professor Jack Pitney, a professor of American politics at Claremont McKenna College, joins us now for some analysis. First, let's start with the president's unsubstantiated claims that Trump Tower was wiretapped by former President Obama. The FBI wants the Justice Department to dispute the allegations, but what about that tweet storm that everybody woke up to these claims?
This is like a game of telephone. Originally, there were some stories in the British press that the intelligence community had some surveillance on Russians who had some contact with people who had some connection with the Trump campaign. By the time it got to President Trump, he was saying that President Obama had wiretapped him, which clearly is not supported by any facts at all. But now this has grown into something much bigger than a mere tweet storm, and he's going to be paying a political price for it in the days ahead.
Well, there's also been talk that, President Obama's spokesperson came out and said this just is false. This did not happen. At least President Obama is not responsible for it. There have been some talk that, well, maybe that just means they're saying former President Obama didn't do this, but in fact, the tower was at some point wiretapped.
Yeah, the officials, Director Clapper, the FBI, are issuing denials that are broader than that, but it is possible that perhaps there was some surveillance on people that had some connection with the campaign. That'll come out in the days ahead, but as far as what Trump said, that part doesn't seem to be supported by the facts.
All right. President Trump also had rather snarky Twitter exchanges with Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi. Involved of course, their denials of having any kind of connection and meeting with Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak's meeting with both Republicans and Democrats. What insight can you give on that whole drama that's unfolding right now? Because now the fingers are pointing everywhere, saying, well, Sessions didn't say he met with him, but you're not saying you met with them, and we have pictures of you with them. It's turning into a soap opera.
Yes. Now, ambassadors meet with officials. That's what ambassadors do. That's their job. This particular ambassador, very experienced, long Washington ties. Not surprising that there are stories of his meetings with officials. So far, so good. Couple of problems. One, his meetings with some of the Republicans occurred precisely at the time that Russian intelligence was hacking into the Democratic National Committee, releasing some of that information. Question, was there some kind of collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians on that?
So you're saying this isn't apples to apples here, the comparisons that, President Trump's camp is comparing Pelosi's meeting and maybe Schumer's meeting with Putin and Russian dignitaries. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, an on-the-record meeting with an official is one thing, something that is denied and only comes out later. Informal meetings, very different, and that's why there's some suspicion about what was going on there.
All right, Professor Jack Pitney of Claremont McKenna College, thank you for spending your Sunday evening with us. We'll see you very soon, I'm sure, again. Okay. All right, thank you so much.